There is no doubt about it. The annual rally in Sturgis is the biggest and the best. Each August, about 500,000 riders converge on this tiny community in the Black Hills of South Dakota. In fact, the rally is so big it spills over into the towns of Custer, Deadwood, Lead, Hot Springs, and even Rapid City. From the hardcore enthusiasts to the motorcycle curious, they come from all over the world to hang out, listen to music, enjoy adult beverages, and check out the scenery. Oh yeah, there's plenty of that. And while this year's crowd was a little smaller than usual, there's no sign that Sturgis is losing its appeal. But for me, the rally was just a small part of the attraction for making the 1,500-mile journey to Sturgis. That's because Sturgis is located right smack in the middle of one of the most beautiful and historic places in the American West. A place where you will find some of the finest motorcycle roads and rides in the country. And my riding buddy, Mike Garbus, and I were determined to experience as much of it as possible during our 4-day visit. A beautiful sunrise greeted us on our first morning at the quaint and comfortable Chief Motel in downtown Custer City. Custer is the oldest European settlement in the Black Hills. Gold was found here in 1874 during an expedition led by Lieutenant Colonel George Armstrong Custer. About 1,900 people make Custer their permanent home, and it swells considerably during Bike Week. Don't be fooled, however. Custer is a year-round tourist town because it's near one of America's most notable monuments and our first destination. The ride from Custer to Mount Rushmore National Memorial may not be a long one, but it's one of the best rides in the region, especially the 17-mile stretch of Highway 16A known as Iron Mountain Road. Iron Mountain Road features 314 curves, 14 switchbacks, 3 pigtails, 3 tunnels, and 4 presidents. The faces of 4 U.S. presidents are carved out of solid granite at Mount Rushmore: George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Teddy Roosevelt, and Abraham Lincoln. The project began in 1921. The 4 faces were completed between 1934 and 1939.
Oh man, this is great. This is great. This is real presidential during an election year. We're going to see 4 of the great presidents here.
For the second leg of our Black Hills ride, we headed back down Iron Mountain Road for a short trip to Custer State Park. The 71,000-acre park is just 15 miles from the town of Custer, and it's listed as one of the world's top 10 wildlife sites, and this is why. This is most definitely where the buffalo roam and rule, I might add. In 1914, the park purchased 36 head of buffalo to help preserve the magnificent creatures that had been all but wiped out by unrestricted hunting and harvesting for their fur. Today, the park herd totals more than 1,300, and everything stops when they decide to cross the highway. The buffalo was an important and integral part of Native American culture, and just a short ride away from Custer State Park, work is underway on a monument to preserve and promote the history of the original occupants of this beautiful land. Work began on the Crazy Horse Memorial in 1949. It is still underway today. It features legendary Lakota warrior Crazy Horse riding his horse and pointing into the distance. When completed, it will be the largest mountain carving in the world and will completely dwarf Mount Rushmore. Perhaps that's fitting, since the original plan for Rushmore was to feature Western heroes, including Crazy Horse. The memorial, which was commissioned by Lakota elders, lies on private land and is the sole work of a private foundation and the late Polish sculptor Korzak Silkowski, his family and descendants. It accepts no government money, and while only the face of Crazy Horse is complete, there is an incredible museum, interpretive center, and gift shop which are well worth the modest admission price of just $5 per motorcycle rider. Riding in and around South Dakota's Black Hills and Badlands is motorcycling at its best. The roads are great, the scenery is incredible, and the entire area is rich in history. There's wonder and awe here, and a great bit of mystery, too. It is about a 2-hour ride from the Crazy Horse Memorial to America's first monument, a ride that takes you north through the South Dakota Badlands and Spearfish Canyon, then west across the Wyoming border. Long before you reach it, you can see it in the distance, rising nearly 1,000 feet above the surrounding landscape. Native Americans called it Bear Lodge. European settlers called it Devil's Tower. Teddy Roosevelt believed it significant and important enough to be preserved and protected, and it was named America's first national monument in 1906. Upon entering the park near Keystone, Wyoming, you can see just how unusual Devil's Tower actually is. Certainly, it has a somewhat out-of-place look to it, almost alien. Perhaps that's why Steven Spielberg chose it as the place aliens landed in his 1977 blockbuster, Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
You know, there's an amazing thing about this place because scientists are not completely sure exactly why it's here or how it's formed. There are many differing theories about it. And most people in America know about this place because it's where the spaceships landed in Close Encounters of the Third Kind. I can't really see some guy climbing all the way up there to greet the spaceships, but that's the movies, isn't it?
Or is it? About 500,000 people visit Devil's Tower each year, and a few actually come just to climb it, scaling up the sheer columned walls of the massive tower. Others like me are just content to watch. Watching is more fun and safer.
And it's about to get wider. Oh, slip. Oh, there it goes. Woo! See it? Good thing for the rope. Come on. On the next one.
Devil's Tower is one of 3 great reasons to spend some time in the Black Hills of South Dakota during Sturgis Bike Week. Of course, there is the rally itself. More on that next time. For LA Rider, I'm Bob Courtney, on the road to Sturgis.